Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. It's 3:30 on Monday afternoon, April 25th. What a great day. This would have been my dad's birthday today. So, it's a good day. Let me know if you are here. My name's Pat. I live in Akron, Ohio, in the United States. So, welcome if you are joining for the first time. Please like my video if you're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you are. So just let me know when you're here, hop on. And I've got some fun things to show you today. Oh my goodness. It's kind of like stamping on the fly today because I'm combining 2 or 3 different things. And we'll just have to see where it goes from there. I'll see about for a minute and see if anybody's here. And then I will just get started. And then if you're catching me on the replay on YouTube or Facebook, that's good too. Oh, sorry about that. I saw something down there and I had to stop for a minute. I hope you had a great weekend. We had gorgeous, gorgeous weather here in Northeast Ohio. It was summertime and we had 2 days of it, about 80 degrees. So it was just gorgeous. And now we're going to slip back into spring again. And I went upstairs a little bit ago to grab a cup of coffee, and I could hear the wind start, and the clouds are moving in, and it's getting a little bit dark. So we have some thunderstorms on the way. So I hope nothing interferes with this today. Okay, we're a couple minutes in. I'm going to go ahead and get started and flip you down to my desktop. And I don't exactly know what to say, what we're doing today or what I'm doing today, but it's a combination of using blending brushes. I've got 3 pulled out here, and they look a little bit worse for the wear, but I think you'll be surprised with what I'm going to do with them. So we're going to use some blending brushes and watercolor paper. And let me pull out the watercolor paper here. The Stampin' Up! Watercolor paper is a Fluid 100, and it's 100% cotton. I believe that's what the 100 stands for. And I'm actually not going to watercolor per se today, but I found with this technique, the thickness and the texture of the watercolor paper gives a superior quality to the little technique that I'm going to show you. But it is a premium archival cotton watercolor paper made with a combination of traditional paper making techniques and modern technology. It results in a natural white, so I'll show you that in a minute. It's a little bit different. It's a creamy white with a subtle texture, and it shares qualities of expensive mold-made papers. It comes 5 by 7, and it is $9 for 10 sheets. I typically cut it in half, so I get a piece that is 3.5 by 5, and that's perfect for a card front to add to a card base. So I have a piece already cut at 3.5. And I'll hold this up to our basic white paper so you can see the difference. Since I'm going to add color to it, it really won't make any difference that it's a little bit creamier. I don't think it needs to go with the very vanilla color that we have, but it's a nice thick paper. Now the technique that I'm going to show you can be done also with the shimmery white paper. That works. This works better. I also tried it with just the basic white, but because I'm going to be adding water to this, it will make a difference if you put too much water, and this paper is not designed to take water, so it will start to pill up a little bit, if you understand what I mean. You wouldn't want to add too much water. Hello, Francine. Welcome. Thanks for joining. And Nancy, hello, hello. So, again, I don't know what to call this. I'm going to use the blending brushes, water, and also a Whisper White Craft. This is still called Whisper White, I believe. This is the old style. I have never really found the need to get the new one. So this is the old craft ink pad. And also bring in an embossing folder. So let's get started. If you have any questions as I go, please ask. But the first part of this, well, no, actually the second part, I guess. I don't know. When I get ready for bed at night, sometimes I sit and watch videos, stamping videos, so I can, you know, get ideas and keep track of what I'm doing. And I saw this the other night. And if you take a look at the the blending brushes, typically you just put this in your ink pad and blend it all over your paper, not necessarily watercolor paper. And I've got them designated for different colors. I've got green here, yellow, which kind of looks like orangey, and I've got Pool Party. Now I keep a separate one for Pool Party, although it's got some green on here. Hello, Sharon, welcome. And let's see, yes, yellow, green, and Pool Party. Gloria, welcome. And what I saw the other night was to dip these in a little bowl of water. Now, keep in mind, they get dirty. They have a lot of ink down in there. And typically when you want to switch colors, you'll rub that on your paper. And I'm not doing this now because I don't want to get rid of the ink that's in there. But there's ink way down in there. So this has a lot of different greens on it. This could have Evening Evergreen. This could have Granny Apple Green. We have a multitude of greens. And if I want to switch colors, I generally rub it on here. So the green that I'm going to come up with today, I have no idea what color green it's going to be, because it's going to be a combination of those. But I can't give credit to the person I was watching because it was late. And sometimes I hop out of bed and go try something. I did not do that this time, but I remembered that this was the technique. So what I'm going to do is pull over a little bowl of water, jar of water, and I think the green already has quite a bit on there, and dip that into the water. That is going to activate a lot of different greens that's in there. And actually, I think I got too much on there, so I'm going to wipe it off on a towel I've got nearby. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to put this in the middle, I think. Maybe I should have started with one of my other lighter colors. So I'm going to put this in the middle. Let's see what we got here. And the nice thing about watercolor paper is you can keep going over and over and over this until you get a density of color that you want, where you could not do that with even you couldn't do it with the basic white because it would start to pill up with as much as I've added to this. And even with the shimmery white, it would probably pill up too. So I've got quite a bit of water on there. I'm going to tap that a little bit here. And actually, I'm going to use the heat tool to dry this because I don't have an extra one handy like I normally would. I'm going to do the same thing with yellow. Welcome, Sue. Just kind of tap that off a little bit. Again, I don't know exactly what yellows are in here. We have Bumblebee, which is retiring. we've got So Saffron, we have Daffodil Delight. So it could be any multitude of colors that happens to still be in this yellow blending brush. So I'm going to go here. Ooh, that's pretty. That's a lot of yellow. And in a minute here, I'll show you my sample that I made earlier this afternoon. And then here is, I've already done the green. Whoops. Here's my pool party one. It probably doesn't have as much color in it, but we're going to give it a try. See what I can come up with. Let's go with, okay, never mind. I'll just do it. See what's going to come out of there. That's not, nope, that's not very dark. I must have used it all. Let's try, I don't want these other colors. Let's try a blue. I don't know if blue and green is going to go together here. So I can't guarantee what we're going to get. There's quite a bit in there. There, that's good. Blue, green, and yellow, and tap that on there. Okay, now let's dry it. Let's bring in my heat tool. So the fun part about this is every single one is going to be different. I'll turn it over so you can see how it's curling up. Hi Linda, welcome. Okay, let me turn it back over again and see if it'll flatten out. It'll flatten out when I put it in the cut and emboss machine and run the embossing folder through it. Yeah, that flattened out a little bit. Okay, so that's, so, you know, think about this when you've got your blending brushes and you just tuck them away, add some color, add a little bit of water. So I think I better get rid of this before I make more of a mess. And let me bring over the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And the original technique that I saw did not do this watery thing with the blending brushes. It was a stamper from Australia. She is not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, but she showed a technique where she just used her blending brushes to color over, and then did this next step, and that is to run it through the die cutting machine, or in this case, we're going to use an embossing folder. And I'm using the Pretty Flowers embossing folder. I love this, and fortunately, it's going to carry over into the next catalog, so I'm very glad about that. This happens to be a standard embossing folder versus our 3D embossing folders. So if you're not familiar with those, Plate 1 will tell you exactly how to sandwich your either dies, which are up here, or embossing folders, which are down here. You can see that at the bottom. And the standard embossing folder is right here. We want a Plate 1, which is this one, a Plate 2, which is this one. Excuse me, Plate 2. Oops, we don't need a Plate 2. Plate 2 is only used when you use a die cut. So it's a 1, a 3, and let's put this piece of paper that I just colored. And what's nice is that there's a line along the bottom where you can line this up. Because for some of your embossing folders, you don't want it to be crooked. You want your flowers to be straight, or your lines to be straight, or whatever. So that makes it nice to line up. And then sandwich that in here. and then another plate 3 on top. So it's a 1, a 3, your sandwich with your paper and embossing folder, you can see that, and another 3. And looking at these cutting plates, I think next week, with the launch of the brand new catalog, which will be next Tuesday, I'm going to treat myself to a new set of cutting plates because these are really, really, really old. Okay, so there it goes through. And one nice thing about using the watercolor paper is it's thick and it really gives a wonderful impression with the embossing folder. So take a look at that. It's nice and thick. Even the other side looks nice, even though it's got some water that spread over. So you've got the embossed side and the debossed side. Both of them would look very nice with this technique. So let's put that away. All right, now let me see. I think the paper that I pulled out for this, which is soft succulent, might not look as good as my original design. It doesn't really. Okay, let me show you my original design, and then I'm going to go grab another color paper. Okay, so here is my, ooh, I got some blue on there. Ooh, I'm gonna have to cover that up with something. I think I just got something on there, so I'll cover it with my thumb. And again, as I said at the beginning, you will never know what color you're actually going to get based on the amount of color that is left in your blending brushes from time to time, or what color that you're going to blend together. And that's the whole idea with the blending. So I don't think soft succulent, okay, you can see even that my yellow is so much different because I was playing around with a little bit more. This was the pool party that did not have that much ink in it, but it gave a nice color on this first sample. So let me see, what color, maybe I need some assistance here. What color should I go and grab? Thank you, Sue. Maybe just put it on a piece of black with a white base behind it, because I've got white. And I actually tore this one a little bit, or I've got just a regular piece that's going off to the side. I think I'm going to go grab a piece of, hold on a minute. I shall be right back. Okay, crushed curry. Let me go grab that too. I think that might be a good one. I grabbed smoky slate, basic gray, or black. With this one, I think I tried crushed curry with this one, and this what didn't work with it, but it might with this darker yellow. So let me check that. Whew, crushed curry is not a color that I typically gravitate to, but let's see here. Let's see, we've got a black. Keep in mind it's going to go on white. I think it needs to have something behind it. So there's crushed curry. And here's smoky slate. That's not too bad. And here's basic gray. I don't know if I like that very well. And here's the basic black. So, I kind of like the smoky slate for some reason because of the lighter blue here versus the black. I don't know. We got a black and a crushed curry. So while y'all decide, I'm going to cut some paper here and then make a decision. So I will get my trimmer here and cut the black and the basic gray. And the crushed curry. And I'm cutting these at 4 1/4 for a, what I call like a tint fold card. And then this piece of smoky slate that I grabbed is already at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So I'm going to score that at 4 1/4. Okay. So let me get these scored and then we'll decide again. So these were cut at 4 1/4, so they need to be scored at 5 1/2. Okay, I only need to do one of each. I don't need to do both. So while I'm doing this, I'll just kind of give you a recap of what the rest of my week was, because last week, if you remember, I had to postpone my live till 8 o'clock at night because the flooring guy was still here. And then he had to come back on Tuesday to put all the little edge pieces all around the house. So he was here quite late on Tuesday as well. But by Tuesday, it was all done. And now I've had the rest of this past week, and it continues, still continues, to try and put the rest of the house back together, unbox things, get furniture where I want it to go. And I am basically over the top excited about my new floors upstairs. So if you ever need new floors, I highly recommend the company that I used. So it was a long time coming, kind of a dent in the budget, but it definitely needed to be done eventually. And so now I will get to enjoy it. Okay, back to this. So these are the 3 choices, and here's what we have with some white. So I think the black will make it pop, and then I'm going to add a piece of vellum and I'll stamp in black the sentiment that I chose. So Sharon, thank you. That's a good choice. Okay, so let's add this. Okay, I want to pop this up. And if you've never used the adhesive sheets before, let me see where I've got those here. They're here somewhere. Instead of the little dimensionals, maybe I don't. Maybe I do. Yes, I do. Thanks, Nancy. Okay, our adhesive sheets, the foam adhesive sheets, are just like a big, huge dimensional. You get 6 of these for $8. And what's nice, because this really needs some cushion on the back, is that you can cut this to any size that you want. So let's cut a strip here, and then I can cut smaller pieces. There we go. And then you just peel one piece off, put it in the corners, and I don't know, just something that I use occasionally for a project like this. And let's put one in the middle because I don't want it to sink in the middle. And let's cut this one in half and lengthwise and put it on the side. Then I've got another little trick. I think I've done this before too. I'm adding a lot of adhesive to this. And dimensionals are pretty non-forgiving, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And I'm adding big, thick pieces here. And make sure I get them all off. And I always look to see what's shiny and not shiny. Okay, they're all sticky. So if I should get that in the wrong place, it's going to stay there and I won't have much room for it. Add a little bit of your liquid glue to you, and you can do this with dimensionals too. Add a little bit of liquid glue so that you do have some wiggle room. That gives you some wiggle room. And not only do you have glue, but you have your adhesive too when that dries. So I'm putting this on the one that I had already torn a little bit of the edge here. Okay, so now it sticks. And if I needed to pull it up, I could, because the glue is there and it gives me that room to move it around if I need to. All right, so there we go with that. And I'm going to move this over to the left edge. But before I do that, I have already cut out a piece of vellum from our, I think I've got this marked back here. Or do I? From a die set that thankfully is carrying over. You see all my little red X's here, and these are all going away. Okay, this is from Painted Labels, and it actually coordinates with the Painted Poppies set on page 24 in this current catalog. And I love this kind of whimsical instead of just being a plain circle. And I have punched that out or die cut that out with vellum that is from the mini catalog, and it is also carrying over. Where do I have this? And this vellum is called Layering Designs, and it's on page 33 in the mini catalog. And it comes 12 by 12. And you get some black and white designs and some white on white designs. So I use the white. So it just adds enough of a, like, oh, what is that type thing on there? And looks really very nice. And then I have a layering circle that's going to go right in the center. And now that I'm using black as a base, oh, I know what I forgot. Oh my goodness. You guys, I totally forgot. This is the best part that I said what I was going to use, and it's sitting right here. The Whisper White Craft Pad. All right. I'm going to use, I do have one blending brush just for the Whisper White, and get another pad here. And that's why that's going to soften this yellow. So maybe something else would have looked better. Whatever. Okay, I'm going to tap this off here. No water on this. And rub that over that embossed part. And it really makes that pop. And it softens some of that color. So there you can see I've done it on the blue and the green. Now I'm going to do the yellow. And that softens the yellow a little bit too. And gives enough of a white texture on there. It just looks stunning in real life. Can you see that? I'll put it in front here of my face so maybe you can see it a little bit better. So yes, add the white to it. It's gorgeous. Let's go back down here again. So you could use a darker color and it will soften it some. So the white really adds a lot to it. All right. So now let's add this. And I'm going to use regular dimensionals on the back of this piece of vellum. And since I'm going to cover it over with the white, it won't show. Because vellum is one of those that you use sparingly because of adding the adhesive and the glue to it. All right. Let's take one of those off of there. That's because I'm actually going to cut part of that off. So let's put one over here. All right, I want part of that to go off the side. There we go. And now let's grab my memento. And I have thank you for everything. And I want this to go over as far to the left. Make sure you're up here where you all can see it. As far to the left as I can. And again, this is from the Color and Contour. There we go. T just made it on there. I think that'll just fit. I hope I don't cut any of that off. And add some glue to that. I am almost out of liquid glue. How can that happen? got white ink on me. Okay, I think, let me see here. All right, I think I'm going to do this a little bit different than I did my sample. Okay, let's glue this down. And on my sample, I cut it off right here, so you can see the difference. This one I'm going to cut off just here because this sentiment was a little bit more than I thought. And I've got white ink. That's where it's going. Let's get rid of that. I've got white ink on me and white ink on the back of the card. So now I can trim this off. Okay, I don't know if I like that as well. Okay, see, this is what happens when I stamp on the fly, so to speak, because it's not looking the way I want it to. But I think I'm going to leave it like that and maybe add a little bit of glue there. So this is the original. This is this one. I'm not as happy with it because it needs to be, I should have cut it off like that. But let's add some jewels to it. And I've got the 2123 in color jewels here. And let's see what colors we can go with. Let's go with this yellow, which I believe is Bumblebee down here. Nope, Bumblebee's leaving. That's Pale Papaya. Let's go with the Soft Succulent up here in the green part. And another little one up here too. So we've got our 3 there. Okay. Now be sure to leave a comment, whether you're here on YouTube or Facebook, and I will send a card when I do this next week. By the way, Nancy, you know Jane Walsh, she won for last week, and I need to get her address because I know that you know her. Okay, so there we've got that. So one of these 2 will go to the comment winner for this week. Let me show you a couple of others that I was playing around with this morning that I didn't finish. And here was, again, more blue, green, and I chose orange on this one. So I need to finish that one. And then this one, I did not run through the embossing folder, but I just used a portion of the paper here. I don't know what the size of that one is. I think this was 3 by 4 3/4 for this piece of watercolor paper. And I was trying to make it look like a beach scene, so it probably needs a little bit more on here, or a sentiment, and then I just kind of ran it off on the edge. So I was really kind of going outside the box on this one, so it needs to be finished. So since I've taken quite a while from blogging, I may get these on my blog sometime this week. I took some time away from it because I was packing and unpacking for the past basically almost a month. I think it was a month ago that I finally decided to get that work done upstairs. Thank you. I love that beach scene. I've got to make that into something. It needs a moon or a sun or something like there. So I want to thank you for being here today. I was kind of a little bit out of the box for some of the things, but it all worked, and we got some paper going and a little bit different technique. So be sure to try that. Hopefully you will like that. You might try it on some different types of paper, but the watercolor paper really works. And again, this adds that white from the Whisper White craft pad too. So I wish you all a great rest of the week, and I will see you again next Monday.